Hello again, this is Fiendish with DimensionTouring.com, and this installment of the Tinker Tools video guides will cover loading and saving of sets with Tinker Tools. And when you first open up this window of the UI, Load and Save Sets, you'll notice a whole lot of buttons here and you may not know what they do. Well, first off is a name. Before you can save a set, you have to give it a name. So you're going to save it as a set. Import Export is a separate button, which is primarily if you want to share a save set or import a save set from Dimension Addicts, which has several sets that use both Toolbox and Tinker Tools that you can download for yourself. They're put up by the community. Basically free morphs in case you either are new or maybe you found something that you like and then you don't have to create your own, whatever you want to do. And it's backwards compatible with Toolbox so that you can actually do those text imports, which you'll see there. I'm not really going to cover the importing and exporting of sets because I do have a pretty good article about that on the DTC, and it is more thorough and does a step-by-step of how you can use it. So by all means, please, if you are curious about how to import and export a save set, please check out that article on the DTC. The link is going to be below. So when it comes to loading and saving sets, you've got default sets. Now, Tinker Tools comes with 3 pre-made sets in it that were carryover from the old Dimension Tools that Tinker Tools used as a foundation. These are all they're tools to make a geodesic dome. That's a dome made out of hexes, and it's basically you take one, I think this is one thing, and then you have to pretty much copy and paste the whole rest of the dome. I have never used them. I'm not sure. So don't judge me with these because I really don't know. And then save sets. These are the sets that you've saved. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of saved sets. Is there a limit to how many sets you can save? By that, I don't know. I think in theory there is, but I haven't reached it yet. And I have certainly done my part to try. But the good thing is that when you have a lot of save sets like I do, you also have a search function. So all I have to do is punch in a keyword and then I can find it from there. And it does organize things alphabetically to help make them easier to find. And then Toolbox sets. As I mentioned, this is backwards compatible with Toolbox. So I've got some sets from when I had Toolbox installed. I think I finally got rid of it. And there's sites I've downloaded. There are things I've downloaded from DA. There's things I've put up on DA that are all in here. And they were made with Toolbox before Tinker Tools ever came out. So we'll just go back to save sets. And so now we have our buttons down here. You've got load set, material list, delete set, and to clipboard. Pretty much any set that you're going to use, you want to have a use new items selected, so that way it'll just drop from your bags instead of you having to take, say I want to, when we move this is going to be a 900 and some piece set. I'm not laying out individually 900 and some items so that it can build the set for me. I'm going to let it draw it out of my bags. So you've got load set, and if you don't have a set selected, what the error messages will tend to show up in your chat log, like this one here, which is why I don't have my overlay over the chat log this time, so we can see those error messages. And then delete set, pretty self-explanatory. The material list, once I have a set selected, it'll do just here. Let's just pick a random set. We'll take that cylinder. Material list. So now it tells me I need to have 18 copper planks to make this particular set. Well, say I don't have 18 copper planks, then I'm going to put it in the clipboard. And this is where you're going to use this with Rescan. So to the copy and paste tools clipboard. So Rescan would let me, we'll just go with plain wood. Apply. So now you know that the Rescan worked because it's telling me what I actually need to have. And for this, I will need copy and paste. And notice I didn't have to be in edit mode for any of that to work. Now where is it? Okay, there it is. So you notice if you don't have anything selected, then your set's just going to show up at random, who knows where. So with 1.2.8, the one thing that he added that really came in handy is this right here. Use reference point. He got rid of the load multiple copies of a set because it was redundant with copy and paste ability to paste multiple copies of a set. So we'll just take this set right here, this little couch. First off, I'm going to find all the pieces to it. And when we go into the selection tool, you will be shocked and amazed over how easy that will make some of this. Okay, so I've got it selected. Now if I'm going to click the use reference point, and then I'm going to hit pick. So what that did to the reference point now is going to be where all these arrows converge. It's the selection point, center point, whatever you want to call it. That's my reference point. So I'm going to give it a name. White limestone sofa. And now I'm going to save it as a set. And that's it. I'm going to get rid of all this. So since I'm in the same dimension that I've saved the set in, what I can do is use the load at original location. And that's only going to work if you're in the same key where you save the set. If I say I made the couch here, but I want to use it in say Methosian Cascades in a house I'm building there, it's not going to work. Loaded original location, it should throw up an error that says this location is 800 and some meters from where you currently are. Do you still want to load? Answer is going to be no. So I'm not usually in the habit of even using the loaded original location, but what I am going to do is I'm going to set something to use as a reference point. And remember, it's going to be, so what that's doing is I'm telling Tinker Tools where I want it to load. So I'm going to do just a keyword search. Oh my god. Okay, so white. Now if I want to change out the materials, I can change out the materials. Which I'm not. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm telling it where it's at, and I'm going to hit load. So now this saves, using the reference point saves me from having to go, number one, find the set, and to move it to where I want it to be, which in the case of large sets would be a lot of incremental movements using a relative move to try to get it in position, and I might need to rotate it, I might need to do whatever. If I set my reference point to where all I have to do is maybe do some incremental movements up and down and maybe turn it, then I just made my life a whole lot easier. And there it is, loaded just like that. Now if I want to rotate it, I can do that. We're not going to cover rotations until the next time, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Actually, I'm going to take it out. And so a lot of times I'll use also, I didn't have a template, so I'm not going to use a reference point for this. That's at default size, so I'm going to save it, get rid of it. Now every time you type a word into the search, you have to hit enter for it to narrow down the search parameters. I'm going to load the set, and so this is how it would work without that reference point. There it is. So if I wanted it over here, now I've got to track it down and then move it and whatever else. You get the idea. So loading and saving sets, a really easy function to use, even though don't let the number of buttons and clicky things on here get intimidating, because it's actually not, and it's a great feature to have, especially if you like to have structural pieces to reuse over and over and over again, or cute morphs that you like. So next time, as I said, we'll be covering rotations. Until then, happy building.